Hello, welcome to CEAZOR Snack Sandwich. Today I'm going to take another look at Bean.money. Now, the reason why I'm taking a look at it is because there's some changes in here that are significant and worth looking at. Okay, so Bean has been running for about 7 months now, and as you can see, the peg has been pretty stable. You know, like this is the early days when like the peg kind of jumped around and stuff like that. And then as you can see, there was another like a spike and another dip, but they're getting less and less drastic. And over time, the peg seems to be holding pretty well. And if we go down to a week, as we can see, there's significant ones below, but there are significant like times above peg as well. It's not a straight flat line, of course, but these times above peg are quite significant for what I'm going to talk about today. So the more density above peg is good for what I'm planning on talking about today. But as you can see, it's been recovering the spikes below peg quite nicely as well. So there's a proposal for the gauge for adding a curve gauge CRV rewards to the Bean 3 CRV pool. And you can read through this, but this is basically what I'm going to talk about a little bit today and the benefits of this idea in a bigger, grander scale with a flow chart. So let's swing over to the flow chart and I will talk to you about it, okay? So there are some aspects of Bean money that I'm not going to talk about today. And if you want to know more about that, you can watch the video at the end of this video. I will link to it then and you can have a better understanding of how the Bean system works. But I'm going to talk about integrations today and Bean integrations to the most part, okay? So the first thing we have is we have Farmer Bill. He's a bean farmer. He has beans, and we have this silo here. This silo is kind of like the vault where you stake things and you gain some sort of APY, okay? So first of all, he can take his beans and he can put them in the silo and he will be generated a some stock, okay? Now, also, when he's generated stock, he will also be generated seed. And seed over time grows into more stock. So let's say he puts, to throw some numbers out there, let's say he puts 100 beans in, he gets 100 stock and a big handful of seeds. I'm not sure, maybe 100 seeds. And then those seeds will eventually grow into stock. So this stock is yield bearing so long as he has his beans inside the silo. So he's growing and growing and growing the stock. Now the stock also gives voting rights as well. Now, anytime bean is above $1, like those spikes I showed you, then they have to mint more beans and give them out. So they will give 50% to the stockholders and 50% to the pod line, the debt holders. Now, again, I'm not going to talk too much about this pod. You watched that other video, right? So this 50% is actual beans being paid to him. So if he has 100 beans and he puts it in here, then he's going to be getting interest in beans on his stock that he's holding. Okay. Now the key aspect here is if he pulls his beans out of the silo, then all his stock is burned. So he gives up his yield bearing opportunity and he gives up the stock that was grown from the seeds over time to get his beans out. So he will get back the beans he earned, of course, like as he's earning beans. So he will have more beans than when he put in. However, he's losing this like ability to continually earn more, and this boost of these seeds, if he goes back in again, then these seeds will have to start growing into stock again. So it has a sticky situation inside the silo where people should hesitate to go in and out because of this seed mechanic here. Now, curve finance, okay? Now, currently, you can take your beans instead and put them into curve finance and get a CRV LP. So Bean 3 CRV token. And this is an LP token. Now, this is an interest-bearing token because it has swap trading fees, okay? Because people can swap Bean for other, stable coins, 3 pool stable coins, DAI, USDC, and USDT on Curve, and this pool will gain trading fees. So now it's a yield-bearing token, and he can instead put that into the silo. And so he's going to still going to get his stock, like it's X'd out here because of the removal, but he will still gain stock, he will still gain seeds, he will still gain these emissions from the new beans, but he'll also get trading fees from this, which is great, right? Now, the proposal is for a gauge, right? Now, why do they need a gauge? On Curve Finance, if you have an LP token and you stake it into the gauge, then you're going to be rewarded with CRV tokens, the voting token of CRV, of Curve Finance. Now, it has to be voted on. These emissions have to be deployed or allocated to the gauge, but first the gauge has to be created. So they have this proposal to make this gauge so that these pools here can gain, these pool token can be staked in the gauge to earn the CRV tokens. Now, there is a key thing here though. Like, they could take the CRV this LP token and stake it in the gauge and earn these CRV rewards to give to Bill here. However, this silo is not whitelisted to stake CRV for VECRV. So it's not able to get a boost, okay? They could probably try to get this whitelisted, right? But then they have to accumulate a whole bunch of CRV in order to obtain this boost, right? So instead, they turned their eyes towards DeFi, and they found, of course, Convex. Convex already is whitelisted for the VECRV. Convex already has a huge bag of VECRV, and they can already get something close to this 2.5x boost for users. So instead, Bill will take his Bean 3CRV token, put it into Convex, get a Convex CVX Bean 3CRV token, and stick that in the silo. Now, he has this in the silo. What is he gaining? He's gaining beans from his stock growth, right? And then he's also gaining CRV from Convex harvesting the 2.5x boost or something thereof. And then they're also incentivizing this usually with CVX on top of that. So that's pretty much the whole system, the whole idea here. Now, I think this is pretty cool. I think this is pretty bullish for Bean. Bean's been doing pretty well. And that's it. There is one more thing I want to mention though, and that is here. Bean is having a poker night. Now, Creator DAO has some free seats for people. So if you come and play poker with Creator DAO here at this time here, then you can, if you are the winner, then you can get a seat at the poker table with the Bean Finance guys, the Bean.money guys. Now, I don't have a link right now for the Bean.money guys, but I'll put a link to this and you can check this out, and you can also go to Creator DAO and ask about the poker night game and when is that. It's coming pretty soon. So this is like time sensitive information. That's why I put it at the end of this video. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.